Moon Knight is indisposed due to the events of Devil's Reign, Moon Knight being the first among the superhero community to be captured by Wilson Fisk. But in his absence, Hunter's Moon, Moon Knight's BFF for life, will take up the fight in his stead. Moon Knight issue number 8 serves as a tie-in for the current Marvel event, Devil's Reign, and it does probably the best thing you can do for a tie-in. Instead of connecting the current arc to the external event, this issue has nothing to do with Devil's Reign, aside from a little flashback in one panel which showcases Moon Knight getting his ass handed to him by the Thunderbolts, in case anyone, reading the Moon Knight series isn't reading Devil's Reign. But aside from that, what this issue manages to benefit from Moon Knight's current incarceration is the perfect opportunity for Hunter's Moon to move into the main stage of things. Though this is a tie-in for Devil's Reign, it's really not, and Jed MacKay takes full advantage of that, showcasing the differences in method and approach between the Fists of Khonshu. Jed MacKay delivers a wonderfully rich and compelling story in this issue. Hunter's Moon is given an interesting personal arc, as well as showcasing his connection to Khonshu. The character has some great personal growth in his story, and both its stakes and resolution are satisfying and intriguing. The character has grown beyond being a foil for Mark, and I am so down to see how this character evolves within this world. The classic hallmarks are there, so is a lethality and creepiness factor that feels fresh, and opens up new possibilities in how he interacts with Moon Knight and Khonshu. Like always, every page of Moon Knight radiates style and tenacity thanks to the talents of Sandro Capaccio and Rochelle Rosenberg. But most impressive is how they've re-envisioned Stained-Glass Scarlet, both in regards to her look and abilities. Capaccio has a wonderful visual style, and that comes through in both the beautifully detailed character moments as well as the thrilling action scenes. I absolutely love the fact that Hunter's Moon's suit, Hunter's Moon, is black and the complete opposite of Mr. King's white. And I thought that was a cool contrast between both characters. Rosenberg is absolutely killing it with the flourishes of Moonglow to infuse hints of mysticism that give the surrounding players just enough pause to wonder without going full-on magic. Folks, if you haven't been reading Moon Knight, then do yourself some justice and get on that shit immediately. Moon Knight issue number 8 gets an 8 out of 10. Issue number 8 picks up with Hunter's Moon, the other Fist of Khonshu, taking over the Midnight Mission in the absence of his brother, Moon Knight. Referring to himself as Dr. Moon, he introduces himself to Mr. Flint, who came for Moon Knight's help but is surprised to see the new guy. Yet despite Moon Knight's absence, the mission must continue. Now Mr. Flint has brought forth a case to the Midnight Mission that none of the cops are looking into, and the case is about a woman who has been suffocated, and Mr. Flint is sure to highlight the fact that this case has Moon Knight vibes written all over it. And so handing Dr. Moon the case file, it contains photographic evidence from various crime scenes, containing dead bodies that have been shot with crossbow bolts, and with a specific sigil of the letter S encased in a triangular glass against the walls nearing the bodies, which we've seen back in issue number 7. And Mr. Flint explains that this is the MO of Stained-Glass Scarlet, aka Scarlet Fezzarino, an ex-nun who killed her abusive father but married an abusive gangster and gave birth to a criminal. The cops killed her husband, and she killed her son, both deaths within her own church. From there, Scarlet went to become a vigilante and dabbled a bit in terrorism. And apparently Moon Knight had run into her a few times in the past, and seemingly they've had an interesting relationship as stated. But here's the weird spooky thing, folks. According to the police report, Scarlet Fezzarini died 2 years ago in the same church as her husband and son. But her death, the legend of the Stained-Glass Scarlet, spread about like a bad cold, and her believers paint her sigil on the walls as if she was a saint. And according to the legend, if you pray to her, she'll kill those who did you wrong. Now Mr. Flint theorizes that maybe Scarlet isn't as dead as people think, or perhaps one of her followers is trying to continue her mission and is copying her MO. Later on, Hunter's Moon, who's all suited up, heads over to the old church in the South Bronx, where Scarlet died 2 years ago, and he begins to search the place, eventually finding an attic, which leads to a shrine dedicated to the Stained-Glass Scarlet. And let me tell y'all something, folks, I'm getting some Resident Evil 7 vibes here, minus the bayous. Suddenly, Hunter's Moon hears a woman's voice. Then, all of a sudden, Hunter's Moon is shot by an arrow, but being a badass that he is, he dodges it, though not before falling through the floor into the Church of the Stained-Glass Scarlet, and this is where she begins to tell Hunter's Moon her story, saying that there was once a girl he wanted to be a nun or an actress, but realized that she was the latter. She was a wife to a monster, a mother to another, a killer shot down in the same church where her husband and son died. But that's when she became something more. She became a legend. She was born again from whispers, words of fear, blood, and retribution. And when words come together, they become a story. And she became a story that could kill. And every time her story was told, she would become stronger. And it's here where she appears before Hunter's Moon. But upon getting punched, Hunter's Moon is then immediately surrounded by figures donning red cloaks. And they are all armed with crossbows. And they start firing, manage to get one bolt stuck in one of his legs. From there, the voice reveals that it sees right through Hunter's Moon. And she learns that he's killed people before. Innocent people. Innocents who are vampires. Now, Badir admits that yes, I've hunted and killed vampires before. And though they may have been innocent at a point, never wanted to be vampires to begin with, at the end of the day, I didn't particularly care because I was blinded by my own hatred for the vampires who killed me. Although Badir is the Fist of Khonshu, he is also a person, and a person can change and learn. And so he poses the question, can a story do the same? And that's when the entity appears before Hunter's Moon in her true form, as a four-armed entity made up of stained glass, covered in blood, wielding both a dagger and a crossbow. And her response is yes, a story can change in its telling, but it never learns. Therefore, he can't kill a story with just fists or blades. Hunter's Moon then lets her know that yes, you are absolutely right, you're awesome. However, you've been given back life due to faith, yet your story is still young. Whereas I serve a story that mankind has told since the dawn of time. And with being confused by, Hunter's Moon's babbling, she tells him that she doesn't understand, but kneeling down to pray, he lets her know that she soon will. Because she was right. Stories are the most powerful things in the world. And for what is a god, if not a story? And this is where we see the arrival of Khonshu. Taken aback by the entity that stands before her, the Stained-Glass Scarlet tells Khonshu that he has no power within her realm. But Khonshu lets her know, bitch please, although I've been unjustly prisoned, my spirit has been summoned to this between space of time by my faithful son, my loyal Fist. And with Hunter's Moon fleeing the battle between gods, and with Khonshu keeping the Stained-Glass Scarlet busy, the less murders there will be. Therefore, Hunter's Moon has accomplished his mission, at least for the time being, while gods continue the fight. And that's what picks us up with Hunter's Moon at the new Midnight Mission headquarters, with him telling Reese about what happened with the Stained-Glass Scarlet. Dr. Badir then changes the subject, and he lets her know that he never told her that how much he was sorry, at least not directly, and that he should have done so prior. But Reese cuts him off by saying, it's okay, yet you did try to kill me before, bro, so this friendship that we have, it's gonna take some time to, stick. Eventually, Reese changes the subject by asking if he's sure that the Stained-Glass Scarlet is dead. But he says no, for Khonshu said that they can't die, for she's a living story. So as long as someone believes in her story, she will continue to live. And that's where we see a civilian calling upon Stained-Glass Scarlet by drawing her sigil on the wall. Picking up later at the Ravencroft Institute for the Criminally Insane, the Arkham Asylum of the Marvel Universe, we see an officer asking one of the guards on duty about the whereabouts of a certain inmate who's missing from his cell. Now the guard here, he tries to calm the officer down, saying that the prisoner was a model inmate and that there's nothing to worry about, until the frantic officer lets the guard know that the inmate was an ex-Hydra assassin / terrorist who's got 4 figures of body count to his name and almost blew up a country with a nuclear bomb. And so from there, the guard is like, oh shit, and immediately the red alert is activated. However, while this is happening, we see the nameplate of the escaped prisoner's cell, Prisoner 098, Rutherford Wenner. And that, folks, was the end of Moon Knight, issue number 8. And thank you guys for checking out my video, as it truly means the world to me. And as always, I'm your majestic sayer of words, SuperCliff. And if you guys are new to my channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button. And also hit that notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and so that you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for issue number 9? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until next video, peace.